So, Basti, I wondered if we could start with just a question about the founding of your company. What pushed you to found 54 Gene, and what problem were you trying to solve?
Hi, Naomi. We started 54 Gene in 2019, and to solve a few problems. One was a global problem in this precision medicine space, where genomic studies that have occurred prior to now have started yielding fruits, and we have now all learned that in order to really make sense of our collective histories as humans and to understand human biology, that we need more diverse populations. So in 2018, there was a study that came out that showed that African populations only made up 2% of global GWAS studies. So these are genome-wide association studies used to find associations of genes that link genes to diseases. But even though they made up about 2%, they were responsible for about 7% of the associations found in such studies, which kind of talks about the discovery power within African genomics to help us understand ourselves as humans and to help us understand the causes of diseases as well as potentially clues around how to cure diseases, not just for African populations, but the general population.
So, what kind of you're trying to collect more genetic information for these databases, right? How can you persuade people to participate in this project?
The major, problem facing doing human genomics work in Africa was one of a lack of infrastructure, and the need for additional capacity building. Now, for us, we wanted to do this in a way that was sustainable, in the sense that it was benefiting the global population, but also, and more importantly, benefiting the African communities, where we build research cohorts. And so for us, the way to do that was ensuring that we're building some parts of our value chain within the African ecosystem. We wanted this project to be owned by African scientists. That's how you build sustainability as well, to have African scientists leading discovery from the genomes of their population.
What questions do you hope to be able to answer?
The beauty about human genetics in today's world is that it's important for quite a lot of things, right? So one, there's evidence that human genetics enabled drug discovery or genomics enabled drug discovery leads to drug approvals, at a twofold rate than when you don't have genetic evidence. And so we believe that, by doing a lot of these types of studies, one, that we can develop new drugs that could treat cancers or cardiovascular disease in people of all races. The other thing that, having such a database can do, and discovery with such a database, is that it can help us begin to target diseases properly. Diseases have moved into subtypes, so now we are understanding rather that there are actually subtypes of various diseases. And then the third thing as well is safety of drugs. One of the issues we've seen is that because African populations, for example, have not been included in clinical trials, or rather, because clinical trials have been less diverse. Sometimes you're testing a drug on just a subset of the human population, and so you can't really tell the safety effects of that drug on a broader population. And so by being able to include more diversity in trials, you're then able to eliminate, hopefully, side effects in majority of people.
Mhm. So I hear you saying that there are multiple ways that you could define success. Finding finding new medicines, new targets for medicines, but also figuring out who might benefit most from certain medicines, right?
Exactly, yes. And even figuring out new uses of existing medicines, right? So what we call like, finding new indications for a drug that already exists, or even a generic that's already in the market. We can, using this data set, find additional uses of those drugs. What it does, it in general, it helps drive an efficient healthcare system that hopefully can be efficient enough, to drive prices, because now we can actually begin to find additional uses for compounds that, already out there.
So for 54 gene, how will you define success then? Is it building the data set, or do you have certain goals for medicines that you want to be involved with as well?
For us, it's very important to us that this work changes or improves the healthcare and life sciences landscape within Africa to ensure that there is more infrastructure on the ground and there's more skilled workers on the ground and there are more jobs, and that you have Africans being part of the drug discovery industry, because right now, Africans contribute, or the continent of Africa contributes to less than 1% of the drug discovery industry. So for us, seeing that ecosystem improvement and change, as well as seeing the ripple effects in how it improves the lives of people on the continent from a healthcare perspective, these are the three major ways that we are defining success.